Bishop first centralized.
All right, buddy. So E4.
And he has to be a little careful here.
E6, D4, D5. You know what this is, right?
Yeah.
E4, E5, E5. So you normally play the advanced. Good stuff. Okay, so you're 1400. You're playing at 1650.
And I'll bring the rook
right?
over.
Tough game, but this will be
And then when
fun.
the bishop moves, I'll just
So
take
C5.
here.
Now you play knight F3. Now normally, is this the line you normally play, or do you already know to play the advanced and you're not totally sure where to go from there?
No, I usually just visit. I don't really know the.
Well, the reason is this: when you get this center pawn chain, everything about your position is going to be based on playing on the king side, because you have this open line, you have this open line, you have this open line. Okay, so if you lose this pawn and then this pawn becomes weaker because of it, the chances of you holding down the center are much less. So defending this pawn with a piece, there's a chance. If I was black, I would probably just take it in most cases. And now immediately, which pawn is weaker in the center? E5, right? So the correct way to follow up the advance, but let us do it, okay? Is to play C3. All right. You protect this pawn with a pawn. Once you've created this pawn chain, where's the base of this pawn chain?
And then this is still weak.
B2. Now, which pawn is easier to get to, B2 or E5? Usually, it's easier for them to get here. So this is a hard thing for me to get to. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to develop my pieces and put pressure on D4. But you, as long as you develop and hold down this pawn, it's kind of like the anchor to the whole position. Then you should be able to develop your pieces toward the king side. Okay? So, this, he doesn't do it right away, but this isn't a great move. He should just take right away and immediately start attacking this pawn, and your center's coming unraveled already. Alright, so next time you get this position, play C3. But more importantly, I'm trying to give you advice to like the bigger picture of how to play the pawn structure. You don't want your center pawn chain destroyed. Alright, the pawn that defends the lead pawn is the most important pawn, believe it or not. Because this pawn is sort of holding everybody together. Alright? If your center becomes destroyed, your opponent breaks through and you don't get to focus on your attack. So knight F3, knight C6, and now you take it and you sort of voluntarily destroy this. So again, this is the best move. All right, think about it. What happens after takes? He takes. How many center pawns does he have? 2 versus 1, right? You've broken up the center and helped him develop a piece at the same time. The bishop is hitting F2. He can develop more pieces to attack on the dark squares. I can tell that you're probably already pretty good at other areas of chess, like your tactics and the middle game, because your opening here is off to a bad start, all right? But if you're holding your own against a stronger player of this level and doing as well as I know you are already from talking to you, and you're getting better without really knowing your openings, it means you have a good future, okay? So it's time to, we're going to focus a little bit on getting some of these, you know, basic opening ideas down. But it's not just, you're good enough now where it's not just develop your pieces and get castled, right? You know if you don't use all your pieces, you're going to get killed, right? So I don't got to remind you to do that. But it's about knowing that how you develop your pieces, and in each pawn structure, like against the French, you're developing your pieces different than against the Sicilian, right? So as we get better, it's not just developing our pieces, it's developing them with purpose. Every move should actually have a specific reason, and in the position, if you learn and listen to people that know the strategies, then you'll develop your pieces more appropriately. And in this case, you really need to hold on to the center. What's going to happen is you can put the bishop here. You can then develop again in some positions to hold this guy down. One trick in the main line advance is they'll actually play A3 and B4 to try to undermine this pawn. Because if they can get you to sort of eliminate the pawn or maybe make a big mistake like push it, now white has no more worries on the pawn chain, so he can fully focus over here on the king side. Fully focus for the attack. Okay? So, okay. So you take, and he takes with the bishop. We'll go a little bit faster here. Knight C3, queen to C7, and already all of his moves are just so natural because you've broken up the center.
Because I don't know if you want to put down on
Yeah, you play bishop D2 and he just takes it. I mean, really, he could have also tried to play a move like this last move, and it might be a little tricky for you. But maybe you have knight A4. It's okay. He played this. Probably you needed to bring your bishop here to defend the pawn. Okay. You're still in a little bit of trouble based on some of the things I talked about, because you may develop and defend with a piece, but without that real solid pawn anchor, he can develop his knight here, and then where's his knight going next? Look at where's his knight going next? G6, right? And so after you've broken up this really important part of your center, the chances of you holding the fort down are just not as good. So you play bishop D2, which isn't great, and you lose this pawn, but you're already. Oh, you didn't take it. You played knight b5. Okay, he goes back.
He plays 2.
Okay.
Right, I assume so. Knight b5. Oh no, he takes with check. That's fine too. Takes with check, and then plays queen to e7. You play bishop to e2. No tricks, right? No tricks there. Okay, bishop e2.
Then he just blunders.
a6, knight c3. Okay, so in the end, you know, you got out of the opening.
Okay.
You're in the middle game, and now your pieces start coming to life. Okay. But you got to kind of change that mindset. You have to try to play the most accurate moves earlier, because against these stronger players, you can't get a bad position and then always work your way back in. You know, and chess is very much a science more than it is an art, even though people don't always want to know that, which is meaning, what I mean by that is that it's kind of math. If your opponent has a big advantage, it's up for them to lose it. No matter how hard you fight, if he plays well after they have a big advantage, I mean, you're down material and your opponent has a bigger center and better pieces. So unless they start making blunders, you know, it's hard to come back. So you got to think about where you're developing your pieces, have a purpose with every move, all right? And don't just get castled and say, okay, now I'm going to find my plan. Good players have a plan with every move, all right? So bishop c5,
Just play here.
bishop c6, you can take it, which is okay, it's fine, you double the pawns, but this is okay for him, because is it a big deal that his king is in the center if the queens are off the board? Not really. I mean, he's really doing fine.
Queen h6. Very strong.
King to e7. So bishop d3, he cackles long. Knight e2, now d4. Okay, he opens his bishop. a3, rook h to g8. Yeah, this is getting tough for you. g7.
Better than you wrote C1.
b4, bishop e6. What, you know, you're fighting in, you're staying in the game.
As long as that white I can
a4, rook g to g8, g3, e5. Okay, e5 may not be the best move by him, but you play king g2, rook to g5, and then you go after the pawn, right? You say, thank you very much. All right, well, you know what? If you see a pawn, take a pawn. That's my motto. Okay, J, bishop e4. The truth is, I didn't like e5 right away by your opponent because I thought he was giving you the light squares, and then he played this move, rook g5, to try to get f5, which is what he's going to try to do now, but giving up this pawn was a big mistake. I mean, you're right back in the game. If all these aggressive pieces don't get anything, and the truth is you have the most concrete advantage in the position, which is an outside pass h1, right? So the whole position changed when he gave up this pawn. That's called bad technique. You know what technique is?
Even if you keep your king like over here, I'll keep my
Technique is winning when you're supposed to win, right? So the last thing you want to do when you're better, we can learn from your opponent here, is lose your focus and only think about your threats. Before you make any move, it always has to be, if I go there, what will they do next? It's just like a discipline. It has to be like a mantra. You know what a mantra is? Something you like repeat to yourself. It's like your life motto. So this is just undisciplined to lose sight of your threat. If he plays like h5 first and then tries to do this, you still have some trouble. But this was very, very good by you to recognize the opportunity. And now after bishop e4, he goes from g to h5, and you say, fine with me, h4, rook g. He's sort of, now he's playing for like one move threats. He goes here, makes a threat. Now he goes here, he's going to make it from the pin. But one move chess doesn't lead to good things. You take it and then go here, and now all of a sudden who's better? I don't know. It's definitely not that clear. Why is he better?
Because now his rooks are both attacking.
But his rooks have been attacking you for the last 10 moves.
The castle.
I mean, where's the threat?
This is the mistake in the game.
I know what I'm doing is white. I'll play g4, and then h5, and if I can, I'll put this pony on a light square. That's where the pony's happy, right there. Look at that. Which is better, your knight or your bishop? Your knight's like one of those like freakish horse with like fangs and stuff. It's like a dragon almost, like a dragon horse. What would be the word for a dragon horse? I don't know, that's ridiculous. But here's the thing, his bishop is like a big pawn. So no, I think your evaluation is wrong. I think you're better here, you didn't realize it. You can also leave the structure as long as there's no threats and relocate the knight now around to one of these solid light squares. You're up, no, you're not up material, but you are, I consider you sort of up material because even though you're now even, strategically these pawns are double. And so, in a way, you're sort of positionally better. We'll talk about your mindset because that may not have been good that you thought you were worse. Maybe you missed chances. Okay, but you're playing b5 for this sort of trick, right? But I don't know that I like tricks.
That's not cool.
I don't know that I like tricks. Now you're playing like him. Where is your advantage in this position? Like, what about this position is better for you? That's why you want to develop plans where the best play is coming from your opponent, and it doesn't make a difference. You have to fight the urge to develop plans that require them to miss things. Okay? You hear what I said? Like, it's a good feeling to always be developing a plan where you're taking advantage of what's already weak in the position, what you know to be the best way to play the pawn structure, like outpost squares, because those are squares that are weak. And if you want to improve your knight, you can also just develop a plan to try to push this pawn a little bit. I mean, b5 is not that bad, but after takes, and he doesn't blunder his rook, I'm not sure that really improves your position. He has a pass pawn, but more importantly than that, I don't like where you're thinking. I want to be thinking over here, using my advantage. So now you play c4. That's two connected passers. It's hard to complain, but you also give him a pass pawn. I would have just left it, and I would have played this. And what's he going to do? Keep making one move threats, and then I'll play this. And as soon as I can, I'll relocate, and I'll really have some play. I mean, if I get my knight to g3, how delicious is that square, right? I mean, seriously, like, if you play g4, you're threatening knight g3, knight f5, that's game over. Like, at my level, like, I would consider this position winning. Like, just winning. That's how close you were to having executing a more solid plan, improving your knight, using the advantage you have in the position, which is this pass pawn, instead of being focused on little tricks. Okay? Develop plans, not just moves. Develop plans, not pieces. By definition, if you're playing for a good plan, you're going to use your pieces. You see the trick? But you don't just want to play one move at a time. All right, dude, that's too bad. You were really close, actually. Now you play c4, which looks good, but I don't know, you give him the pass d pawn, and it's going to be a mess. King b7. Now you play f4. Oh, no. Oh, no, you're going to give him this. Again, wrong plan. It's almost like you think you're worse here. You think you need to do something, but your position was actually better.
That's what happened.
My dad hung up.
Well, you weren't using your advantage. Don't be intimidated by a higher rated player, okay? Little secret. All right, well, ratings are real. Ratings are what they are for a reason. All right, a higher rated player has a good rating because they've won a lot of chess games. But the higher rated player doesn't want to face you being confident and being aggressive. They always want to place people who think they're worse and losing and want to be solid. Because then if you're just solid, they're going to use their experience to outplay you. If you do things that are really aggressive and you try to just go for it, the lesson is always be aggressive against a higher rated player. Make them beat you. You know? Don't play solidly and wait for them to grind you down. Alright, so now he starts attacking your pawns. Alright, you play rook f5, but I mean, I wouldn't even play rook c8. I would have immediately on your move f4, I would have said thank you and played e4, and now how are you going to deal with these two? These guys are like a dual-headed monster snake dragon that's like from the wild. Have you ever seen Hercules? You know, he fights the snake and he cuts off the head and another one pops out? You know what I'm talking about? You guys need to work on your pop culture. If you haven't seen Hercules, I don't even know what you're doing. Alright, so you're in trouble anyway. The two-headed monster will get going, but he should have done it without activating your rook. e4, rook f4, d3, here it comes. Knight c3, bishop d4, ouch town. Owie. Owie. Oh no! Alright, you get a little check, which is nice, but it's not enough. You've got that pass pawn there. King takes, rook f3, d2, and then he goes here, plays a little trick to guard the pawn. Very nice by him. And he got his rook in the game. I think he probably could have even just rushed the a pawn. I think he probably would have beat you. But okay, he plays f6. And